is Joy, coming to you live in Riley's mind. Get on your feet and make some noise!
Did you notice that in the new trailer for Inside Out 2, one of Riley's main emotions is completely different? Or did you notice that this time Riley herself is totally changed? We discovered all this and much more after thoroughly analyzing the new Inside Out 2 trailer. And whoever sticks around until the end of this video will have the chance to discover all these details and curiosities that we're about to reveal. If you're a fan of Inside Out like I am, you must remember that at the end of the first movie, we see that classic final scene where Riley bumps into Jordan.
Sorry.
Right after that, we see her entering the ice rink. And if you look closely, you'll notice that Riley's uniform is almost exactly the same as what we see in the new Inside Out 2 trailer, except for a few small details. The main one we noticed is that the socks covering Riley's shin guards are predominantly black with 2 white stripes, while at the end of the first movie, they were white with green stripes. This could really indicate that now Riley is playing for a higher class team than she was at the end of Inside Out, suggesting that indeed some years have passed between the 2 films. Additionally, we also noticed that our protagonist is wearing a new and super stylish accessory worn only by high-performance athletes. We noticed that underneath the main Foghorns uniform, Riley is wearing a high-performance black thermal shirt. And how do we know this? It's simple, because of the initials DMR that you've probably seen athletes wearing even in real life, but you still don't know what it means. DMR stands for Dynamic Motion Resistance, which is nothing more than resistance and strength training. This means that Riley has been training hard to achieve her dream of being the best hockey player she can be, which is exactly what we see her doing at the end of the trailer, where she's shooting several hockey pucks in solo training on the ice rink.
Sadness is in the house! Yay!
At this moment, we noticed another very interesting detail. We can see that Riley, during her solo training, is wearing an orange uniform, and right after that, the anxiety emotion appears, which is also orange. This may indicate that Pixar is once again using the spectrum of Riley's clothing colors for us to understand her emotional state. Since in the first movie, the company did the same as Riley's mind became more disorganized, and her clothing colors became increasingly darker, which could make complete sense as we all know that Riley's team uniform is a mix of light green and dark green, even though the mascot is orange. But there's also another possible reason that we'll discuss in a few points, so stay relaxed. Speaking of orange, did you notice that one of the main emotions we know from the first movie has a significantly modified appearance? We're talking about the favorite of many fans of the movie, anger. If you look closely, you'll notice that some details of the red emotion's face and part of its head are no longer red, but orange. And right after that, when we see anger again next to fear, he's completely red once more. So the questions that arise are, was he painted because of the game? Was he about to burst into flames? Or was he influenced by anxiety?
Anger!
Let me at him!
Fear!
Mouth guard, people!
Comment below which possibility you believe is the most likely for anger to be partially orange. Or comment below, #anger. Another thing we noticed is that when Joy starts her narrative spectacle, we can see that the environment behind her was still completely normal, which indicates that probably that scene takes place early in the movie. In other words, Riley was in a moment totally without anxiety, but when the orange emotion appears, we can see that Riley's mind is already totally messed up, full of a terrible mess that the caretakers of Riley's head made, just like we saw in the first trailer. Indicating really that, as it seems, the movie will have a very well-defined and constructed sequence of Riley's story. Another really cool thing we noticed in the second trailer of Inside Out 2 is once again the existence of memories of mixed colors on the memory shelf inside Riley's little head, like a memory of sadness and anger mixed and another of anger and joy. But unlike the first trailer, this time we can see some memories that are totally unicolor, just like they were all before on the same shelf, demonstrating that yes, most memories are indeed the result of individualized emotions, as we noticed in the first movie when we explored Riley's mind. Another super cool thing in the new teaser is that we notice the puberty button continues to appear calmly in several scenes of the movie, like when Joy is starting her narration in the best sports style, or when we see her from behind, observing what Riley's eyes were seeing at that moment, which was a hockey game. This makes it very clear that, at least up to that moment, the button hadn't been activated yet, as it happened in the first trailer, in that super scary moment where none of the emotions knew exactly what to do when it started alarming almost terrifyingly, at least for the emotions.
Hey, guys, what's puberty? I don't know. It's probably not important.
Whoa.
And honestly, I think they really have a reason to be desperate. Puberty is fun and at the same time quite complicated. Taking advantage of the segue from the image of the hockey game that Joy is narrating in Riley's mind, don't you agree that this scene is extremely similar to the one where Riley's dad is having dinner with the family, but his mind is literally zapping pleasant memories? And he's exactly remembering a hockey game in his mind. This raises suspicion about whether Joy is really watching a game that is happening at that exact moment, or if it's actually a memory that Riley is just recalling in order to mentally remember the details and improve her game in the next hockey match. But from the color we noticed through Riley's eyes, the hockey game on the ice was really happening at that moment and was very important to the movie's protagonist. This is because the color of the images was in a more aqua green tone, while in Riley's dad's memories, they were entirely yellow, as they were memories involving the emotion of joy, at least for him. We noticed another almost imperceptible detail, but we managed to see it thanks to our super attentive eyes. At the end of the first movie, in that same scene where Riley and Jordan end up bumping into each other, we noticed that as Riley was starting her journey in ice hockey at her new school in San Francisco, everything she was wearing was new at that moment. So we can see that the inscription safety hat on her face protection is practically all intact. In this scene from the new trailer, where Riley is already 13 years old and has surely played several hockey games since the end of the first Inside Out movie, and we notice that both the head protection she wears and the name safety hat are much more faded, which could mean that Riley has hit her head quite a bit in her hockey games. I honestly wouldn't want to play against her. In the scene where we see Riley scoring a goal, we can see at the top that the score between the two teams is tied at 0. Which probably means that this was either a very tough game for Riley's team, or maybe one of the decisive games of the season, which can demonstrate how Riley may have become, over time, the most decisive player on her team. This would explain, for example, why anxiety appeared in this new movie, since Riley may even be pressuring herself to be the most decisive and important hockey player. Maybe they are even close to competing in the finals, and that can really be a heavy burden for Riley. And to wrap it up, we have a really cool and sensible theory. Riley is trying out for a higher league, or perhaps even for the American hockey team in her category. This theory is based on seeing Riley training alone in a large gym with the clear goal of becoming an even better player. We see the flags of the USA and Canada in the background, which may mean that either she's training after or before a game between the teams of the two countries, or she's at the arena of the higher hockey league that includes teams from both countries competing against each other. In any case, we can say that Riley has really evolved a lot and definitely has everything to become a great hockey star. But that's exactly where the next emotions that will become part of Riley's control room come in, since this new context may end up making Riley very apprehensive and, by extension, anxious because of this new sports phase she may be experiencing. Of course, this is just a theory, but we really believe that Riley's relationship with her favorite sport will be one of the most important themes in Inside Out 2. In any case, I'll definitely be rooting for Riley. Those were the 11 details and interesting things we noticed in this new teaser of Inside Out 2 that served to further excite my desire to watch this incredible movie. But we'll still have to wait some more time for that to happen. In the meantime, we have to wait patiently, and while we wait, we've selected these amazing videos for you to watch and have fun. Just choose the one you like the most and click on it. Thanks, and have fun!